From the nation's capital in Monrovia, good evening, a pleasant welcome to news today on KMTV. I am Zach Sherman, your presenter. Stories in the headlines. President Weir construction plan of his 69 housing unit project of Purple Beach and Nuku Town commences. National Elections Commission ends its regional consultation with stakeholders on electoral reform laws. And the Ministry of Youth and Sports launches national policy and action plan for young people across Liberia, with dissatisfaction coming from young people. Those was more package for you on this presentation when we shall return. This is news today on KMTV. Liberian leader George Weir dream of making Purple Beach a Nuku Town, a new city, is now becoming into fruition gradually. It can be recalled that President George Weir, during the dedication of a new and more than 50 housing units project for fire victims, assured the people of Purple Beach and Nuku Town in January that he would make the community a new city, which will eventually attract investors and yield a huge dividend for the masses, something that is now becoming a reality. Well, as testimony of said endeavor, Presidential Press Secretary Isaac Solo Kabe on Tuesday, October 29, 2019, disclosed the execution of the project for the fundamental level. According to him, contractors have now begun the initial work for the 69 housing unit project in the area.
But the president again tried to give that place a better facelift, because if you have those structures in the middle surrounded by other dilapidated buildings, you don't see the beauty, you don't see what is there. So what the president decided to do is to make that project have a phase 2, to expand it to some level. So we understand that project commenced yesterday with digging a foundation for some areas, and people that are far off are also started to move out. So you have additional 69 units being built. You have the 25 surrounding structures that are in good condition being renovated. You have the construction of stores, and the Liberian Agency for Community Empowerment is doing that. And briefly, before I close up, our colleagues in the Africa at the Bizan Hospital, their issues are being of major concern to some of you and to some of us. But I'm glad to say that from the medical report we have from the doctors we talked to, that the whole year, one of the guys should be ready to come home in the next in less than 2 weeks, because when we spoke to him like 4 days ago, he said in 2 weeks time. So if his words are anything to go back, we can say in less than 2 weeks we'll have Jerry Gay, who worked for the Prime FM, to be back. Gabriel Mills is still receiving treatment. He has just had his second surgery, and we hope he can recuperate and get better soon.
Well, in a related development, President George Weir will on Friday dedicate an 18 million water plant project in Monrovia. The project, according to Mr. Kirby, will help provide water to residents in some parts of Monrovia.
The president will, this week, November 1, 2019, will break ground for a new water pipe, water restoration to some parts of Monrovia. That activity is being conducted by what you call the Millennium Challenge Corporation in collaboration with the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. So the president will be breaking ground for that pipe to be erected, and we told it is very large indeed. So the president will be there on the 1st of November at the water plant facilities to be able to break ground for the construction or the erection of that pipe, which will be able to supply water to most part of Monrovia. We are told by the Millennium Challenge Corporation that it is about 18 million grant project money being provided by the United States government. So that will be done on the 1st, and the president will be there to break ground for that. On the 2nd of November, the president will be meeting with members of the United Nations team in Liberia and the diplomatic corps. Normally, the president have consultative and briefing meetings with those from the international community, the various ambassadors, representatives, UN country team, and to discuss certain issues, listen to what their concerns are, how best we can collaborate to move the country forward. So one of those meetings to be held on the 2nd of November at the Jamaica Resort, where the president will be hosting that meeting. Also, the president is expected to receive a high-power UN Peace-Building Commission delegation headed by Giuliano Fernandez de Soto. They will be meeting with the president on the 6th of November, and they will be discussing peace-building issues.
Meanwhile, the presidential press secretary named health, education, and agriculture as prioritized areas for his administration in the coming months.
The president also made a request, apart from pledging to work with the United Nations. The president has said that agriculture, education, and health remains a priority for his government in the coming months and years, so that he's soliciting the support of the United Nations in this endeavor. So the president is grateful to the United Nations and has promised to work with them as he remains president, even outside his room as president, because he once worked for the United Nations before. Still with the United Nations, the UN on the 15th of September began deliberating on Liberia's sponsor a bill at the United Nations which has to do with access to information. And on the 15th of this month, the UN unanimously passed that bill that was co-sponsored by Liberia. So September 28th each year will now be celebrated as Universal Day to Access to Information Day around the world. That bill was co-sponsored by Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Costa Rica, and other countries came to join. So that's one of the initiatives that we were able, under this administration, was able to achieve.
The assistant project manager of the President's project in Margibi County, Arthur Gotolo, has termed as false and misleading claim by Representative Beruza Tompoe and that his boss Joe Dura is selling land in the area. Arthur clarified that Mr. Dura, prior to assuming such position, has been in the real estate business in a legal manner and not as claimed by the representative. Mr. Gotolo warned the Margibi County lawmaker to stop spilling such political allegations at the detriment of his own people. He challenged Representative Tapoe, if convicted of his allegation, to take the matter to court to seek redress.
If Joe Dura is selling illegal land, you have to court. It is true that Joe Dura sold a lot of land to people prior to him becoming, commissioner of land in Margibi County. So, if you claim that Joe Dura is selling illegal land to people, if someone has a problem with Joe Dura for land issue, you have to go to the court. The court is it will be the final place where you can get redress. But to come on the air and not even call him to sit down and hear his side of the story, but to come on the air and say he's selling illegal land, I think it is very unfortunate, and Tabarusa Tabawe have to stop that, because as a lawmaker, when you go on a talk show, your constituents are listening. They want to hear the development you are carrying on in your district, not to come and go against someone who is bringing development to the county and the district at large. Now, Joe Dora was born in Margibi, especially in district number 1, there where he was born. His family owned a lot of land there. Now, Joe Dora go and lobby and tell the president, look, we have a lot of land in Margibi that have not been developed. Let us carry this project in Margibi to provide job for the people of Margibi. As I speak to you, we have cleared the ground opposite the barrack. We are about to start the construction of 5,000 housing units. Joe Dora is currently in Casablanca to conclude that deal. Upon his return in early next month, this project will start. That project will provide a job for a lot of people. Joe Dora just took the names of Liberian contractors, about 25 companies that's supposed to be working over there, because he told the investors that, look, our people are the ones that's supposed to do the work. Why it is true that you can get a national contractor to come and supervise, but the locals will do this work because our people need job. Isn't it a plus for the people of Margibi County? Now his fear is that Joe Dora is getting popular in the county, or especially in Margibi Division number 1, and Joe Dora want to succeed him. That is his fear.
Meanwhile, the Margibi County lawmaker in a local talk show displayed documentary evidence of the sale of land to many people in the district by Joe Dora and privileged, thus a claim he has since refuted. Representative Tom Powell, also on the talk show, alleged that Mr. Dora is abusing his power and privilege to allegedly sell land in his county. This, he noted, should be a cause for concern of his people.
He led the team to take $59,000 for 16 acres.
He took it personally?
I got everything.
He personally took it?
I got everything.
But does he have a land there? Does
no,
he have land
but that's
there?
what I'm saying. No. Well, when we find out, the people pay this $59,000, then to fence it, everything amounted to $85,000. And what happened, AB, is that somebody said...
So the land commissioner is doing land business?
Yes. And somebody came and said, this is my land. It's not their land. Then another official of the county called me and said, you know, the land commissioner has duped people here, and they are here, they are demanding their land.
How will land commissioner do people? That's why I'm saying, because you should have something, you should be in possession.
Not only that,
of something before you can.
The land commissioner is not to sell land.
So how is he doing it? That's what I'm asking.
If he has abuse of power, abuse of privilege. That's why we are here.
So he tells the investors,
indeed, the land is here. I can provide land. I can do X, Y, Z.
If you're just coming up with this, it's a reminder that you are watching news today only on KMTV. This is a half-hour news presentation coming to you from Liberia in the best part of our one global village. I am Zach, Chairman presenting Still to Come. National Elections Commission ends its regional consultation with stakeholders on electoral reform laws. The Ministry of Youth and Sports launches National Youth Policy and Action Plan, with dissatisfaction coming from the Federation of Liberian Youth and the Liberia National Students Union. Those plus more are still here for you when we shall return after this short break. This is news today only on KMTV. The National Elections Commission has officially ended its regional consultation with stakeholders on the reform of electoral laws of Liberia. Speaking to reporters at the end of the 3 days national event, the project lead of Democracy Support Project, Barbara Smith, said she was impressed with the level of witness and engagement shown by the participants, something she noted was vital to the process. She commended the National Elections Commission for such initiative and is hoping that the final outcome will reflect the aspirations of the people.
Well, I can say that everybody was really engaged. I mean, this is the final consultation in a round of national, regional consultations, and this is the national level one. And you could definitely see that people present really had gained a lot of knowledge, maybe over the past year, but certainly over these 3 days, of some of the different propositions for changing of the election law. And I think they also had, reasonable time to discuss and put forward their views, which is really important. And I think that the Election Commission today showed a real willingness, to make this meaningful and to take those views on board in their finalisation of their changes to the election law. I think people of all different levels participated. So there were persons with disability, there were representatives of the musicians union. You know, it wasn't just ordinary citizen society, you know, the usual people that you have, but also very importantly, there were representatives from a lot of the political parties here, and at the end of the day, they are the ones who have to feel, you know, who have to make sure that the representatives vote for these amendments that come through. So I think that's also very important to consider in this.
Meanwhile, the steering committee chairman of the Liberia Elections Observation Network, Pilot Johnson, wants the recommendations by the participants well captured so that the necessary reform can be made to help further strengthen the electoral laws of the country.
Our only hope is that these recommendations will be captured, that we can make the necessary reforms to our electoral laws. So that's what our hopes are, that we're going to see these things. And what NEC has done, and make political parties, civil societies to have a say in the laws that will govern our elections. I think most of those, majority of the participants were representatives of political parties. And like you heard one of the speakers at the closing said, that this should be the work of the political parties to convince their senators and their representatives in the House to see how they can prevail on them to see the need for reforming our elections law. So we really hope that the political parties will prevail on their people, that we have the necessary reforms.
Lofa County has officially launched its Dollar Rally campaign in Monrovia over the weekend. The move, according to the steering committee of the county, is to raise funding to support the teams of the county ahead of the kick-off of the sporting festivity. Julius Content witnessed the ceremony back in studio. He filed this report.
We are now in the position to dispel the misconception and the myth that the citizens of Lofa County should only be confined to academia and farming. We will tell Liberia that the citizens of Lofa County have men and women who can compete in all facets of life in this country.
Aaron Colley, a prominent citizen of Lofa County and owner of Infinity Broadcasting Corporation, Power FM, Power TV, also encouraged citizens of Lofa to see this year's edition of the county meet as Lofa time to win it.
This National Sports County meet will be the beginning of proving that the sons and daughters of Lofa County are ready. Yes. And that trophy will be taken to Lofa. From Walagisi to Ketoma. Yes. From Wasanga to Yandemo. Yes. The time has come for the streams and the velocity of the Lofa River to ignite the citizens and propel our boys and our girls to victory.
Though the legislative caucus of the county pledged initial $1 million Liberian to the initiative, but both Senator Steve Zago and Senator Josh Tengbe, as a further sign of motivation to the teams, also provided additional contributions to the endeavor.
As the chair of the caucus, will also give $500,000. There are those of us who enjoy your confidence. We enjoy your confidence. You voted for us. You voted for Senator Temba. You voted for Senator Zago. We owe that reciprocal goodwill to you. We owe you a fiduciary duty. You want to say thank you for the commitment. Steering committee will be with you. Call on us anytime, anywhere. We'll be available. So I'll give 40,000.
Meanwhile, the superintendent of Lofa County and the chair of the steering committee of Lofa County, Momo Saros, urged the people of Lofa to support the county to ensure they achieve their objective.
And I want to say, let us give the support to our team. We identify the values in this team that they can make it. The team can make it. But the only thing the team needs is the support. They require support. And let me conclude to say the chairman has done well. For every step we take, he'd rather intervene financially, morally with all his team. Today, the success of the Sport Association, through the effort by the Sport Association, we are now constructing the stadium. And that stadium is almost 80–90% completed because I've been away from our.
So we have been practicing. There have been a couple of test matches. We have two teams practicing right now. One team is Vonjama practicing, and this is the most rather based team. Sometimes in April, we took the most rather team to Vonjama. They had a clash. That team was highly interested, and then that match that scored 2-2, right? Today our team is going to Birmingham. What we tell the two to follow them recruit our play. We will have a tournament in Vonjama the second week in November. Because of the same exposure, we'll have two teams coming from, one from Guinea, one from Sierra Leone, and this Monrovia base and that of the Vonjama base will make one team. These are all geared towards preparations and exposure.
As 48 days to the kickoff of the biggest sporting festivity in Liberia, all counties are said to be preparing for the showdown, including Lofa, who is so far in her gear. I am Julius Compton reporting for KMTV News.
Julius Compton there with that report coming from the sporting arena of Lofa County. First Lady Clark Wiel is in Accra, Ghana, attending the 6th edition of the Merrick Africa Asia Luminary and 2nd anniversary of Merrick Foundation in Accra, Ghana. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Merrick Asia Luminary, Madam Clark Wiel underscored the tremendous impact the Merrick More Than a Mother campaign have made in the lives of men within the country. Madam Weir at the same time noted that her foundation is currently constructing the City of Hope project, which is a multi-complex community with the focus of rehabilitating hundreds of girls and young people in Liberia through education, among others. Merrick More Than a Mother campaign is a move to empower infertile women and help in challenging the mindsets about infertility. The Ministry of Youth and Sports today launched the National Youth Policy and Action Plan 2019 to 2023. In continuation of the 50th anniversary of the National Youth Day since enacted into law in 1969, the National Youth Policy and Action Plan was launched in order to address the many challenges young people are faced with in the country. The plan to be exhausted for 4 years will be seeing the young generation inclusiveness in national development, capacity building, job creation, among others. Meanwhile, the National Youth Day celebration and the launch of the National Youth Policy and Action Plan wasn't witnessed by linked to that's the Liberian National Students Union and Federation of Liberian Youth and other many young youth organizations due to reported dissatisfaction from the youth groups. More of that development will be in our subsequent news broadcast. I know folks who want to say thanks for your viewing pleasure, but before we go here, once again the headline. President George Weah construction plan of 69 housing unit project of Popo Bay and Nuku Town commences. The National Elections Commission ends its regional consultation with stakeholders on electoral reform laws. The Ministry of Youth and Sports launches National Youth Policy and Action Plan with dissatisfaction coming from the Federation of Liberian Youth and the Liberian National Students Union. Again, I want to say thanks for your being pleasure, but my name is Zach Sherman. Thanks for being there.